Let me get my first impression of Alfred Collins. So all the things I said about Mykel Williams just now, none of them apply to Alfred Collins. No offense to Alfred, okay? No offense, because he could end up being a hell of a player. Right. But like the way that Mykel seems, the pedigree of going to Georgia is just dripping off. Like he's ready. He's ready to go. Alfred's not. And he might get there, but like he's not quite healthy. Mm-hmm. He's not polished when he talks. He seems young. And I don't mean that in a bad way. He just seems like a big kid. Like when he was he did his interview with us, he's like swaying back and forth. You know what I mean? How like 13-year-olds who don't quite have full control over or the full confidence of themselves and their body yet, kind of like he's squirming. Mm-hmm. And then, but again, like what I wanted to say is he's Trent Brown's little cousin. Do you remember this Trent Brown? Like he was on the Niners.
Our Trent Brown.
Yeah, he was a very successful player, but he was a 7th-round pick with the Niners. And I remember my first impression of Trent Brown was, dude, this guy's really young. Like he's a big kid. He kind of seems gangly. It doesn't seem like he has real great coordination. I wonder how he's going to do. And then he ended up being like the best pass protector in the league. He had these incredible feet and he was so big. So my first impression of Alfred Collins is he reminds me a lot of his older cousin who ended up being a very successful player in the NFL. So big, and you look at them, it's like, man, you don't really have an NFL body. You kind of need to get in the way. Like Kinlaw had an NFL body. Collins is more like Brown. It's like you're a little chunky, and but you know what? It just might work for them. I'm interested. It might work for him.
Well, as you know, I was disappointed in my initial reaction to the pick. I was not too happy about picking him. One thing is that I was worried about his functional strength. So, that's something that we're going to have to bear out and see once he starts playing. But I would love to also know what's going on with his ability to stay healthy. So he played in front of Byron Murphy and T'Vondre Sweat, two guys that are clearly in the league right now, coming out of Texas. And he was more of the little brother of those guys. And, when he did get his time in, he was more of a rotational player. Now, once T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy left, and Keandre Coburn, I think, once they all left, there was a big void there and questions with the Texas program about how were they going to stop the run. And to his credit, they showed up in spades. They had one of the best defensive run stopping teams in the nation, and Alfred Collins was a huge part of that. Now, one thing about it is that the season that he played was pretty much some of the best football that he's ever played in his life. We're asking him to follow up to like pretty much the best year that he's ever had. With if you really look at what we're doing, right? Okay,
right.
So gotta give him a little bit of grace. His body has never played as much football as it had last season as a senior. All right. This is a guy who had to work
like he hasn't quite recovered from it yet.
He hasn't even quite recovered from that. We got to think about this guy. So when him coming up playing a full season as a senior, all right, now just in short months, he's worked out the hardest he's worked in his life for combine, pro day. Okay. And now he finally gets drafted and he's got to turn right around and get ready for a camp. I think it's time to put him on ice. We want this kid to last for about 4 months.
Well, I think what's interesting is like the Niners need him to be as ready as Mykel Williams or more, because defensive tackle is arguably a bigger need for the Niners than defensive end.
Right.
And like with Mykel, I don't really have any questions. I don't know if he's going to be a great player, but I think he's going to be a player for them. He's going to be an instant contributor. He's going to play a lot and make an impact. With Alfred Collins, it's not like a slam dunk. Like he could right away. He could absolutely fill his role right away as a rookie, or it could take him a little while. Yeah. Or he might miss some time. He might be in and out with injuries. Like, and I think it's kind of scary because there's a lot of pressure on him to produce. He's not a first-round pick, so the target isn't on him, but there's a ton of pressure for him to play 17 games at a high level. PrizePicks is sponsoring the Cohn Zone this year. PrizePicks is the leader in daily fantasy and the best place to win cash while watching sports. And the best part about the app is it's really easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few players' stats. I'm a Niners guy, so when I'm doing PrizePicks, I'm looking, the last couple of years, I'm looking at Deebo Samuel, because I know Deebo Samuel better than Deebo Samuel knows Deebo Samuel. So if it's like drops, I'm taking more. Or if it's like
punches thrown towards his long snapper on the sideline during the fourth quarter of a game the 49ers will go on to win, I'm smashing more because I know the 49ers and I'm a PrizePicks guy. Now, maybe they didn't have those exact plays, but they have so many plays that'll make your head spin. And you can play PrizePicks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Best part about it is the new user offer. PrizePicks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. So win or lose, you'll get $50 just for playing. That sounds like a win to me. Use promo code Cohn, C-O-H-N, to claim your $50 today. Tell them Grant sent you.
That's a lot. Well,
Yeah.
and that's what, now is the time to do it. Talking about this in week 1 is pointless, right? Because the bullets are flying.
Yeah.
Now is the time to talk about it right now, about level setting, about what let's be clear about what we're asking them for, right? We're asking rookies that have come in, and some of these guys where it took them 3 years to get to this point in their lives to play. Some of these guys have played out of their minds for their rookie year, and now we're asking them to come in and not sit behind a vet or, compete or learn the NFL way. They got to do all of that plus get on the field and last. So Alfred Collins, if he's got a nick or a bruise here and he needs to sit down and be put on ice, I got no problem with it. Do it.
My last impression of Collins, there's some big guys in the NFL who are like pumped up littler guys. There are some big guys who are legitimately big and probably would be even bigger if they weren't in the NFL. And if the Niners are trying to get truly bigger, and it seems like, at least on the defensive line they are, this guy is really legitimately very, very big.
He's a massive
And
human being.
Massive. Way bigger than I
Like,
expected.
you feel his presence.
Yes. Yes.
Dude,
and I'm like, oh yeah, you're definitely Trent Brown's cousin. Like, that's how I felt in Trent Brown's presence. Yeah, I remember him.
Like, hey, Alfred.
And I remember the switch. Like, my first impression of Trent was like, no way. It's the 7th round. There's no way, dude. He's immature. He's not in good shape. He's not going to make it. And then it's like $80 million contract from the Raiders. It's like, yeah, he's just super freaking gifted. And he figured it out, clearly worked hard too. I think Collins might be in that boat.
I do too. There's another guy that we're going to bring up that made me okay with the Alfred Collins pick, but I'm clearly on the train with Alfred Collins, but we just got to pace him out now. We need him.